Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom on GB News. Welcome back to Westminster, and welcome, good morning to Nigel Farage. It wouldn't be a farmers' protest without you here showing your support. But just remind everybody at home, everybody that's listening and watching on TV, why this is so important to you.
The English countryside is loved and admired all around the world, predominantly because families have husbanded the land for, in some cases, centuries. What these tax changes do is they mean inevitably very large numbers of farms will leave the families that have looked after them, be sold off, undoubtedly, to giant American corporations who will probably put solar on half of it, and on the other half, probably introduce kinds of agricultural practices that are so intensive that many of us will find it repulsive. So it matters at every level.
What's frustrating, Nigel, I think, talking to people here, when we was here at the last protest as well, is there is fundamental basic disagreement on the figures. So it's not as though the farmers are saying we don't want to pay tax. They are saying if you would only look at our spreadsheets and compare them with yours, you would realise that this policy is built on a lie, on a myth. Do you have any faith that they can get together and crunch the numbers?
I've never in my adult life known a Treasury forecast that was right about anything, let alone this. They always get it wrong. The sums are wrong. They haven't thought it through. And by the way, this is not just farms. It's small family businesses being affected as well. It's just that this is more visual with tractors. It's a massive assault on the private sector, but in particular, this is really a battle of global corporates who will benefit out of this as against the little man and little woman. And I'm really pleased not only that tractors are here, but they're in Scotland, they're in Wales, they're in Yorkshire. And remember this, Labour have got approximately 100 members of Parliament who are now representing rural or at least semi-rural constituencies. These kind of protests need to be, by the way, peaceful, obviously, but need to be in every market town in England, and we need to get the great British public behind small businesses, behind our farmers. And you know what? Fear of losing the next election, and let's face it, Starmer's not off to a great start, is he really?
Well, there's the understatement of the year, maybe. But you're getting to know these MPs now. You sit in the House of Commons. We've got PMQs today. You'll be in there. They're behind the windows in these buildings all around here. They'll be having their cup of coffee this morning, opening their laptops. What do you want them to think when they peek through the curtains down here in Westminster?
I think this world of rural England, of farming, and let's not forget our fishing communities as well, I think this current group of MPs are more disconnected from that world than they've ever been at any time since Parliament sat 800 years ago. They have no comprehension. We have a politics that is dominated by a huge urban majority, no comprehension of what food is or where it comes from, no understanding of why the English countryside of them is somewhere they drive through and think it's muddy and a bit wet. Yeah. Well, and so there is a real disconnect that is going on. But I believe that there is a silent majority of people in Britain who really do understand this. And you know what? If Labour think they're going to lose those 100 seats, we will get a change.
They need to get the public on side. It is a risk to some degree, bringing 500 tractors down the M4 this morning, along the A4 into London. It might disrupt people's commute to work. But at the moment, it feels like the public is very much on side. It feels like they understand the issues. Is there a tipping point at which the farmers risk losing the backing of the British public?
Compare this to Palestinian protests, I would say.
Just stop oil.
I would say that actually the disruption's Just Stop Oil close roads without permission. These guys have done it all exactly the right way, and frankly, the level of disruption to people's lives is minimal. No, I honestly think the one thing that might turn the public against it is if we behaved a bit more like the French, whose protests are very violent. I don't think that the English people would support that.
Well, the French sprayed manure across most of Paris, didn't they? Which actually, I don't know. I think there might be a few people here might think that might be quite a good idea. But there's a level of patience. I think the British public have a level of patience with this cause, and I think that this can be pushed a long way. As you say, today is very peaceful. It's all in collaboration with the authorities here. And what now, Nigel? Where do they take it next? What do they do? Should they withhold some of the labour, withhold their produce from the British people?
Well, I'm not going to encourage them to produce food shortages this Christmas. That's entirely up to them. No, I think This is an overtly political campaign. If these campaigns are persistent all around the country, especially in those 100 seats held by Labour MPs, and if the opinion polls start to show this is really, really impacting the government, and by the way, the majorities that Labour have in those seats are minute, that is how change comes. Change comes through backbenchers who know nothing about this industry but know everything about keeping their jobs.
Yeah. And there's certainly a very strong community, what I've realised in the last few weeks, the farming community. There are disparate groups leaping up here and there now. I think they have to be careful. I spoke to Wally Harrison earlier. They have to be careful that there aren't too many factions within the farming community and that they can remain cohesive with a clear vision. Do you think they're going to be able to do that?
Do you know what? In some ways it doesn't matter, because you've got, for example, the huge estates in Lincolnshire, in parts of East Anglia that are producing vast quantities of barley, where land is £25,000 an acre, and equally you've got Welsh hill farmers, on much lower capital bases with a different series of interests, yet within the same community. And frankly, if all of those groups have their own voice, provided with some degree of coordination, doesn't worry me at all. Okay,
well, great to see you this morning, Nigel. I'm going to let you go. There are a lot of people that want to talk to Nigel Farage here. There's also a lot of people, I don't want us to completely, so stay with me, Lucia. Let me hold on to my camera woman here. I want to take you and have a little look. Let our viewers see what's going on here at the moment. So we've got Parliament Square behind me. We've got all of the tractors have started to amass here. At the moment there are dozens, but there will be hundreds of tractors this morning as the event kind of swells here. It is a growing crowd. It is a growing sense of community. Morning, fellas. Lots of people here. I have to say, GB News also getting a very warm welcome, not just by people at the protest, but also just people going to work, saying, thank you so much, GB News. We love what you do, and we are so happy to see you down here. You see, look, there's people walking along, clapping the tractors. These are just people going to work. They're not part of the protest, but they just want to have their show their appreciation for these people who work so hard. Good morning. Are you here with the protest?
I am. I'm not even a farmer.
Amazing. So why are you here?
Just to support. Labour are killing it. I've never needed to protest in my whole life.
Yeah. You look genuinely emotional. Oh, come here, stay with me. I can't make you cry and then you walk away. You've never protested in your life and yet you feel so desperate about this country. Tell me why.
Just they're mucking everything up. It's ruined.
Feels like broken Britain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I watch your show all the time.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully it don't make you cry every morning. Thank you. See, look at that. That is the strength of feeling here. That is a man who's come down here, got tears in his eyes about this. It feels so strong. He said, I don't even work in farming. I just feel I have to be here. There's going to be a lot of people here like that this morning. I'm going to bring in David Catt. David is a farmer that's from Kent.
Okay.
Did you see that gentleman there? He got tears in his eyes. He's not even connected to your community.
No, the support has been tremendous. With the rallies we've done in past, I was in Dover 2 weeks ago. The lorry drivers, even the French lorry drivers, were supporting us. The people on the streets clapping us. Wherever you go, they're tooting their horns, flashing their lights at us. It becomes very emotional, and a lot of the farmers here well up with tears in their eyes because this is so important. We are trying to protect our industry from being destroyed on a sort of generational family farm basis, which has gone on for centuries, and the land that these people work when they've been on the farm 5-6 generations, the value of the land is irrelevant to what they do. They earn their living out of the land. They are custodians of the land. They create the British countryside, and they just want to pass this on to the next generation. If you put a 20% tax in there, it doesn't pay. There's no money in the system to pay for that.
Yeah.
So it's the end of the family farm.
And as Nigel Farage just said, this is actually it's a David and Goliath fight. It's the small British farmer and it's the massive American trans corporations, the companies that are going to sweep up this land. They don't have our best interests at heart.
It's a land grab by big corporate money. I believe it's a land grab by big corporate money, which the government now are trying to do a USA trade deal. That'll mean we'll get chlorinated chicken in tins to eat. We'll have hormone-fed beef, antibiotic-fed livestock that we're not allowed to use, so we can't compete with them. This is just another method of putting us out of business. But if they take the land where all these farms fail, there'll be factories, there'll be wind farms, there'll be destroy the British countryside.
Yeah.
And we're trying to fight for that. That's what we're fighting for.
Okay, David, great to see you. David Catt, come on, I just want to bring our viewers just to have a little bit more look at what's going on here. So you can see in the background here, we've got the House of Commons, we've got, careful Lucia, but don't want to lose my wonderful camera woman this morning. Sorry about this. We've got Westminster Tube Station just here. Now, if I can just turn you around, Lucia, to see this area here. So it says Labour, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I'm sorry, sir. We're live on the TV here. So, no, it doesn't matter. We're GB News. Do you like GB News?
I watch it, yeah.
Good, marvellous. That wasn't very convincing, but there we go. Right, no farmers, no food, no future. These are the signs that are being held up. Good morning. How are you? Why are you here?
I'm here because I want to back British farming. I live and breathe to farm. Everything I do in my life revolves around farming, and I'm scared we're going to lose our industry. And at the end of the day, if you eat food, you should support us, well and truly. And as my placard says, we just want to feed you. We're not asking to be millionaires. We just want to get our food into your supermarkets and do what we should do and back British farming and grow British produce.
Where is your farm?
I'm a self-employed farmhand, and I farm in South Suffolk.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. And as you can see, the tractors are starting to line up down here. There are 500 on their way. If my understanding is correct, Charlie Peters, our reporter, is also going to be on one of those tractors when they descend here this morning. There is a lot going on. There is a lot of passion down here. People feel very strongly about it. PMQs is happening in a couple of hours. Oh, I'm so sorry. So you're going to have MPs making their way down here any minute now. Will any of them have the bravery to come and talk to these farmers? I very much doubt it.